Well, hello everybody. Thanks for coming back and visiting me here on my channel. I know it has been a while since I last did a color along video. I had quite a few things going on in my life that I had no choice but to take a break. But here I am again, and I am hoping to do a color along with you guys. And for this video, I've chosen to do a page here in this book called Twilight Garden. It is illustrated by Maria, I think Troll or Trolli. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce that last name. And yeah, I wanted to just go ahead and do a page in this book. I got this book a couple of weeks ago and I started to play around with it, and it is a very, very beautiful book. So let me just go ahead and flip it open so I can show you what I kind of been playing around with. And so I've got the first page. I actually colored it, and I came up with this. I was trying to get a feel for the book and the pictures and all that good stuff. And so here is a nice colorful picture that I colored. And I didn't get to put my name in there yet, but for this I use those, I don't know how you pronounce it, but it's the Ohuhu markers. And also I use some Faber Castell Pitt pens in gray for the background here. So like I said, I was just playing around and trying to see, get the feel of the book. And then I proceeded and colored in this part right here. This is something I've just been doing on my own. Like I said, just kind of getting a feel of the book. I love this book, but one thing I found out the hard way was markers are not recommended to be used in this book. As you can see, I'm going to try to get this in the picture here. Let me see if I can figure out a way, but this page is the back side to the front cover page that I colored, and as you can see, the markers all had bled through. So yeah, I definitely would not recommend using markers in this book. So that picture is pretty much ruined, but that's okay. I do have another copy that I accidentally ordered for myself, so I'll have a backup one so I can always go back and color that in that other book. And then here is the page that I was just, been doing on my own and trying to get a feel of the book and also of my pencils. I recently acquired some Faber Castell Polychromos, the 120 piece set. And it's taken a little bit of time for me to get used to those Faber Castell Polychromos. I usually have been, I have been using the Prismacolor Premier pencils, so this is a different learning curve for me. So like I said, I was just kind of getting started on that, so that's something that I'm just kind of like, doing on my own and seeing what I can come up with. I did use a little bit of gel pen on here. I don't know if you can see it, but see right there, that's a gel pen with the, with the glitter and stuff. And I did it also for the little swing area here. And so far, from what I can tell, there was no bleed through in the back cover, so I think gel pens might be okay. But just as a warning, if you didn't want to try out gel pens in this book, just take, pay attention to the back and see if it bleeds through, because I haven't used full on gel pens on a page in this book yet, but so far with the silver glitter that I used on those little areas, it did not bleed through. So like I said, this is a very, very beautiful book. And the picture that I actually wanted to color along with you folks is this guy right here. I'm choosing just something simple for now until I can get a better feel of my Faber Castell Polychromos. But yeah, so this is the page that we're going to be working on, and I'll fix my camera here shortly so that once I start coloring, you guys can see what I'm doing and getting all straightened out. So I've got a piece of paper behind that page that we're going to be working on, just so that I can protect the next page behind it. And so I won't get any like indentation marks or whatnot. So I guess the next thing to do would be get started. So let me just adjust my camera here so you guys can see what I'm doing. And I think so far what I'm planning to do is go ahead and get started on coloring these different leaves in here that I can, if I can point them out. So far I'm seeing some leaves here around these flowers, this branch of leaves. There's some under here, and I think these are actually flower blossoms right here, some sort of flower blossom. So maybe I'll just color that as a flower. And then we got some leaves that are hiding underneath these little berries. I'm assuming that they are. So let's go ahead and get started. I did pre-pick the three colors that I'm going to be using for the leaves. And as usual, I usually pick out a light, a medium, and a darker color. So for my greens, let's take a look and see if you guys can actually see this. I know it's like the lighting kind of makes it hard to see, but for my light color, I am going to be using the Chrome Oxide Green is it Fiery? Okay, that's the 9201276. And then I've got for my medium color is going to be the Hooker's Green, and that is, and it's very hard to see. That shining gold foil makes it hard to see. I'm going to be using so this is the Hooker's Green, and that is, I believe it's 159. And then for my darkest green, I'm going to be using the deep Cobalt Green, which is 158. And I will be having the names and all that good stuff of the numbers and colors that I'm be using in my description box below. So yeah, so we're gonna get started with these guys, and I'm just gonna go ahead and do the leaves. Okay, so first off, I'm picking up my Chrome Oxide Green Fiery, the 276. Like I said, it's very, very hard to see because of the lighting and the foil lighting on here. But like I said, so that's going to be the first color that I use. I'm not sure if, let me see if I can focus and see if it would work. I think it's just the lighting, period. Yeah, it is the lighting. So once again, that's going to be the Chrome Oxide Green Fiery, and that is going to be number 276. Okay, so let's see how close I can get my camera zoomed in so we can start on some leaves over here. I'm going to try to focus in here so you guys can see what I'm doing. Alrighty, and let's go ahead and move this over. So what I'm thinking about doing so far is, I think what I'm making out here, these are leaves. These little thin mark, they got some thin lines in them. And there is about 1, 2, and 3 on top of these kinds of leaves. So what I'm going to do is, using my lightest green, and also if you guys don't have Faber Castell Polychromos, it's no big deal. You guys can use any brand that you guys have. Just try to pick the colors, your light, your medium, and your darkest color. And that's what I usually do when I'm coloring and stuff. So what I'm going to do is use my lightest green, the Chrome Oxide Green, and I'm going to go ahead and put a base color on these leaves right here. I'm just going to focus on these leaves right here for now. And then once we get those colored in, I'm going to let you go ahead and continue on with the same techniques I'm going to use for the other leaves that are identical to this one here. And so there's total of what I'm seeing so far, 3 areas. And then we will move on. So I am just going to go in with just a light base and to start coloring in the leaves. Just putting down a light base, and I'm just using very soft pressure and coloring in circular motions just to give it a better coverage and to help eliminate those stop and go lines. I mean, I know the purpose is to not have, I mean, the focus, you know, excuse me, I can't even talk today, is just to eliminate and try to avoid to have as many, you know, too many stop and go lines. So that is the purpose of me coloring in these leaves using just some soft pressure and coloring in a circular motion. Helps eliminate, like I said, helps eliminate those stop and go lines, the indentation, the harsh directional marks that you can get, like if you colored from, you know, like back and forth. Okay, so just a light base and just trying to get a little base color on there. But like I said, I know I was MIA for, you know, for a good month or so. I had a lot of things that went on. First, I ended up having another spine procedure. I ended up having a cervical nerve ablation, and so it's in my neck area. I have a couple of pinched nerves there, and I've had previous surgery where my, you know, cervical area, my neck was fused, but I was still going through a lot of pain and having trouble keeping my neck and using my arms and whatnot. So they went ahead and did a cervical nerve ablation, which is pretty much going in with a very small cannula catheter, and they burned off the spinal nerves that were causing the pain. And I still have some residual pain going on because it does take a little bit, you know, some time for that procedure to kind of calm down before I can actually determine if that procedure worked. So I know it's been like almost a month now since I've had that, and I still, you know, I think it has helped a little bit, but I won't really know the full, you know, the full benefit for, you know, a couple more weeks because it is, you know, it is nerves. And then I attended my, you know, after, like, I think 2 days after that procedure, I went to Texas, San Antonio, Texas, with my fiance, and I went and attended my oldest son's Air Force boot camp graduation, and that was a lot of fun. I'm so proud of my son. He's 22. He's my oldest boy out of 4 boys that I have. And then when we got back, I found out that we got approved for the house that we wanted to move into. So yeah, we had a lot of moving going on and boxes all over the place. And then I had to, of course, unpack and get my room set up so that I could do these videos. Okay, so pausing with my blabbing on my story life, but I've gotten my lightest color laid down on those areas in those leaves. So now I'm going to go ahead and move on to my medium color, which is going to be my Hooker's Green, the number 159. Okay, I know you guys can't see that, but like I said, I'll have all the names of the colors that I'm using and stuff like that in my description box below. And once again, with just some light pressure, the one thing I have learned with using these polychromos is going in soft layers works better than going in right off the bat with some hard pressure with your pencils. I think and I feel and experience that going in layers, in soft layers, works so much better, and the color um, comes out beautifully if you just work in layers instead. So with this Hooker's Green, I'm going to go ahead and lay some color down. Um, I'm going to focus on just coloring in up to like maybe halfway, just to fill in a little more color and give these leaves a little bit more dimension. So I'm just going to go ahead and just softly fill in some color in there. It might not seem like it's making a big difference, but once you come across and do it and you get your final result, you guys will see that it actually does make a difference. So just real soft layers. And yes, I am using, of course, my circular motion of coloring. And I'm just going to continue and just go ahead and fill in just about, halfway. You just kind of gauge it. You don't want to fill up the whole leaf. I want to leave some lighter areas on the outer, on the outer parts of the leaf. Okay, I think this one can use a little bit more. I don't want to overlayer it with a color right now because I'm still going to come in and use my darkest green to finish that up. So hopefully I can be on track again with doing my color alongs. And I hope you guys are still sticking around. Like I said, all of us have, our personal lives. So, and things come up. And we got to take care of real life first, correct? Oh, yeah. And also last weekend for Mother's Day, another reason why I was so busy and could not get started right off the bat with making, continuing on with making color alongs, is I went to California, to San Diego, California for the Mother's Day weekend, and I spent it with my two youngest sons who stay there with their father. And I spent that weekend with them just hanging out and chilling. We went fishing and, just kind of spent that time together. So, and I don't get to do that often because, of course, traveling always takes time, energy, and money. But yeah, so I was very, very happy about that. I'm still I'm still ecstatic over the fact that I was able to do that. So yay me. Okay, I know it kind of gets from my area right now, how I'm coloring, because I'm trying to make sure that I'm showing you guys what I'm doing, is that I am coloring at a weird angle for me. So just forgive me if I'm stopping and going because I'm trying to look and trying to find the best way to approach the leaves and get them colored in correctly, or not really correctly, but you know what I mean. Just trying to get in there without blocking your camera view there. It is kind of hard, but that's okay. I hope you guys are still able to follow along. So as you can see, I just been filling in, mostly just the bottom parts. And let's see. For this little, little tight little areas, it's always, it would be best to have real sharp tips so that you can get into those little tiny areas. And so that's what I'm kind of doing right now. And like I said, you guys don't notice a whole lot of difference looking at the video of the color change. I mean, I can see it on my end, but you guys will be able to tell the difference in person and as you build up your layers. I mean, it looks like, you know, right here, I'm kind of just like lightly adding some color in there. And sometimes you can't help it, but not, you know, not, you can't help it not using circular motions when you're coloring, because it just depends on your hand positioning and the area that you're trying to color. Sometimes you just kind of have to adjust and just try to add some soft layers in there. Okay, and then of course you got those darker areas that, you know, if you were to look at it, and because it's kind of tucked in there with the petals of this flower right here, I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of that, of my medium green in there. Just because if, you know, you think about it in real life, those are pretty much shadowed areas because it's tucked in behind something. So there you go. So that seems simple enough. And now I'm going to go ahead and pick up my darkest green that I have chosen, which is the deep cobalt green. Let me see if I can actually focus my camera. Let me see if focusing my camera would help see it. Not so much really. A little bit, but like I said, it's the lighting and the foil labeling on these pencils. But it's a deep cobalt green, so that's my darkest green. And then I'm just going to go ahead and fill in the very bottom parts of each of these leaves and in those corners, and just to darken it up a bit. So this video, of course, is going to be most likely in multi-parts, because I just want to be able to do this video for you guys and give you guys some time where you guys are not feeling rushed of having to finish anything right off the bat. So I'm still trying to just stick to the bottom areas of this, and I'm just going back and forth using circular motions and adding my deep cobalt green and really trying to get it darkened enough, especially in those inner corner areas. As you can see, I'm not really, you know, adding any more color to the top part of these leaves. I'm kind of like leaving that almost like a highlight, lightened areas. And for those of you that are using the Faber Castell Polychromos, I would be really interested to see or to hear from you guys on how you guys like your pencils and what are some good techniques to other good techniques that you guys use, because like I said, it's like very different. I was, you know, so used to using the Prismacolor Premier pencils where they're nice, soft, and, you know, smooth and buttery, and then coming over to, you know, the Polychromos, and it's got a different feel because I think they're what? Are they wax based or oil based? I forgot. Actually, I think they're oil based because Prismacolor Premiers are wax based, and the way I remember that is because if you press down using Prismacolor Premiers, you know, if you use a lot of, you know, some hard pressure, it does leave that wax plume. So yeah, so these Faber-Castells are oil based, so they do have a different feel when coloring. And for me, it's a learning curve for me still, so I'm still learning what and what not to do when using Faber Castell Polychromos. So if you guys have any suggestions or tips and or tricks that you guys have, you know, if you guys use Polychromos, just feel free to message me or leave your, you know, leave a comment below. And see right here, I'm adding in some of this dark green on this very outer outer corner areas of the leaves, and getting it real dark, you know, where it's really tucked in there. And you would just do this until you are satisfied with the amount of color that is, like, you know, that you're laying down. It's to your own satisfaction. If you want it lighter than that, you can choose different colors or lessen the layers. I really want these tucked in areas and these areas where there's, you know, where it's tucked in or covered over by leaf, pretty dark. So I'm just going over it again, over and over with just layers. I mean, I'm really using soft pressure. I'm not pressing down hard at all. Okay, now here comes one of the trickier parts. I mean, it's just like I said, it's the angle. And I'm not really so worried about if I end up coloring in, you know, going over the lines a little bit, especially on this page because it does have the black background. And then any color that I get into here, I mean, and I know it's not going to be a lot of color, but I know there's going to be some stray pencil strokes in there. I'm not really so worried about it because I'll have it covered up with whatever color I choose to use for the flowers. And that's going to be later on. So my plan is to go ahead and fill these guys out, show you how I'm going about coloring in these leaves here, and then I will let you guys finish up and do the same techniques to the other two parts. There's one here, and then there's one on top right over here, and I'll let you guys do that on your own time, and then we will meet up here again. We will meet up here again and then work on another part on this page. I don't want you guys to get too bored listening to me talking while I'm coloring. So, but as long as you guys, you know, want to follow, you know, the techniques that I'm using and how I'm coloring in, you guys should be just fine. I don't want to get, see this area right here, I don't want to get it too dark in some of those areas. I do know that I am going to need some open stock of the Prismacolor Premier, the white pencils. I mean, I'm going to show you guys here real quick on what I'm dealing with right now. My poor Prismacolor Premier, you know, the white, because I like using it with blending. I mean, I've got one here that is on a pencil extender already. So its life is almost ending there. And then I got another piece where you can see it's about maybe 2.5, 3 inches long left. So yeah, I do like using the Prismacolor Premier pencils, the white, you know, for blending because it's just softer and it seems to blend in well. It's great for blending. Okay, so I'm coming in with this last leaf over here and just adding my deep cobalt green into those areas that I want to be darker. Like I said, especially those areas there that are really tucked under there. There we go. I'm trying to get, you know, this bottom part here. Really colored in with that dark. That's darker deep cobalt green. Just to give, I want to be able to give my images or, you know, the leaves here some good depth of color. Like I said, it's really hard with the angle that I'm using right now. to color in. I mean, I do have a camcorder, you know, kind of a camcorder that I recently purchased, and my plan is to use that in doing my videos. But yeah, I still have to learn how to use it correctly and how to position it on my tripod so that I can use it. That is, you know, something new to me. I mean, I really don't use that. I've just been using this this camera that I have that I can just plug in USB to my computer, and my computer picks it up, and that's what I'm using right now for, and what I have been using making my videos. Okay, so I think I've gotten the amount of color that I want here. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go ahead and pick up my lightest green again. That's the Chrome Oxide Green Fairy number 276. And I keep showing you guys here, but you guys can't see it. But anywho, now I'm going to go over again some of these, you know, this lighter areas that I left. And I'm softly just blending in the colors together. So I'm going over, you know, some of that darker areas that I are just finished coloring, and I'm just really softly, because I want that, I still want that light area to show through, but I want to blend those colors, all those colors together. I'm just using the lightest green that I have chosen to use for these leaves, and just very softly going over all the leaves and blending those in together. You can also use a colorless blender if you wanted to do that instead, or you can use the Prismacolor white if you guys really want that, you know, that lighter area to pop out. It's all up to you. This is just what I have chosen to do for these leaves. Okay, I hope you guys are seeing everything okay here. Because it's a really soft layer of color that I'm using. Just enough to blend all the colors together so that the darker areas right here on the bottom don't look so harsh coming in. And this is just my own technique that I have chosen to use, and might not be the same technique that other colorists might use. And here comes the awkward positioning part of my hand. So I'm surprised that my hands are actually cooperating with me today. But I guess today would be considered a good day as far as my health-wise. That may change later on, but that's just something I just deal with. Okay. So there you go. That's what we've gotten so far. Let me see if I can get that up closer to you guys on the camera there, so you guys can see what I've done. Okay. So that's what was able to accomplish so far. And if you guys really wanted to pop out, you know, make that, you know, those lighter areas pop out and give it more of, like, you know, a highlight, you guys can use a white pencil. And for me, I love using the Prismacolor PC938, the white pencil. And see, if I did that, it would just really make it pop out just a little bit. So let me just see. Let me just go ahead in this area here and just give a little demonstration. Let's just use a little. You would have to have like a real sharp, pointy area on your pencil lid on here, just because this area is very intricate and very small, very tight. And like I said, you guys don't have to do this, but this is just if you guys want to go that extra step. I'm just doing it just to show you guys that you can do that if you want to. I mean, it's also great, you know, for blending all the colors in together. But if you went ahead and used this Prismacolor Premier, this white pencil for the whole leaf, it would just kind of like, it would blend the colors together, and it would actually spread out some of that darker pigment onto the lighter area, and you guys would lose that highlight. So just use it on the ends where that lightest area is at. And like I said, that's up to you guys, but you can see that it you know, it blended it in well, and it kept that white highlighted area. And you guys can just do that if you guys want to. I usually would do that for me, for my own colorings, but that's just my preference, because I really want that, those lighter areas that we colored in, to pop out a little bit more. There you go. I think I'm satisfied with how that's looking so far. Okay, so that's only the leaf part. We still have a whole book, a whole page in this book, you know, to finish up. So I'm gonna leave it at this. You guys can go ahead and, you know, and go ahead and color in the rest of the leaves that were the same as that one there. So you've got two other areas just to follow the same technique that that I just showed you. And then we will meet up for part 2 of this color along in Twilight Garden. So thanks for watching, and hope you guys turn in for part 2, and I will see you guys later. Thank you.